Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of this HTML tutorial series. In this lesson we are going to explore some common code editors. Using these editors we can make HTML pages with less time and less effort. There are actually three classes of code editors which we can use to create HTML pages. The first class of editors are those that come pre-installed with your operating system. For example, Windows computers come with Notepad. Since HTML documents are just plain text documents with a different extension, you can create HTML web pages in Notepad. Here in this Notepad window, we have a very simple HTML web page. In order to save this as a HTML web page, you need to go to File and click on Save. First, you should make sure that the Save As type is selected as All Files. If you do not select this option, then the file will be saved as a normal text file. You will not be able to view the file as a web page in a browser. Next, you should make sure the encoding is set to UTF. Selecting this option means that you can include almost any language in your web page. Finally, you should provide a file name with a .html or .htm extension. Once you have followed all these steps, you can click on Save to save the file. In order to view the web page we have created, we should navigate to the file in a file explorer. If you had saved the file correctly in the last step, then you will have a HTML file with a browser icon in front. You can now open this web page just like any other file. The browser displays the page as a web page rather than the source code we entered. Another method for viewing a web page is to drag the HTML file over to a browser. Apart from the fact that you can create HTML pages in Notepad, it offers no additional features which we can use to create HTML files faster. In order to obtain these special features, we should move to the second class of code editors. Most of these code editors are free and available for all platforms like Windows, Mac OS or Linux. The first code editor of this type we are going to see is Atom. Atom is a free and open source code editor from GitHub. It offers much more features than the pre-installed editors. Atom has a project tab in the left which can be used for navigating between different files using a single click. As you can see, the same web page is displayed differently from that of Notepad. HTML elements and attributes are shown in a different color than the content. This feature is called syntax highlighting. Since Atom is being developed by GitHub, it has close integration with the GitHub website. This is especially helpful when you are working in a team and you need to share your code with other members of your team. The next editor you should consider is Brackets. Similar to Atom, Brackets is a free and open source code editor. Brackets is developed by Adobe, the company behind Photoshop. Similar to Atom, we have a project explorer to our left. It also has syntax highlighting and other cool features just like Atom. Another cool fact about Brackets is that it is written in HTML, CSS and JavaScript, which are the technologies used for making web pages. Just like the other code editors in this list, Notepad++ has advanced features like syntax highlighting. Notepad++ is actually the most lightweight editor in this list of code editors. This means that it requires less resources than other code editors and should run smoothly even on older computers. The next editor on this list is Sublime Text. Sublime Text is unique because it is actually a paid software, but it has a free trial version which has all the features and works fine even without a license. In addition to the usual features like syntax highlighting, Sublime Text has a navigation bar to its right. You can use this navigation bar to jump to any part of your HTML document. This is especially useful if the HTML document becomes too long. The last code editor on this list is Visual Studio Code. Just like Atom and Brackets, Visual Studio Code is a free and open source code editor from Microsoft. Microsoft surprised many developers by releasing this software as a free and open source program. Usually, Microsoft is known for its closed source and proprietary programs. Just like all the code editors in this list, Visual Studio Code also supports essential features like syntax highlighting and navigation. All these second-class code editors offer much more features than the pre-installed code editors. Another important feature to consider is that all these code editors support plugins. Using plugins, we can customize the code editors and add additional features which may not be present by default. The third class of code editors are IDEs. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. An IDE consists of a more advanced code editor along with developer tools packaged as a single program. Usually, IDEs are used in large projects by professionals who are working on different languages at the same time. They offer much more features than other classes of editors. So, which one of these editors should you choose? The answer to this question depends on your experience with HTML. Since you are watching this tutorial, chances are that you are a beginner and you have started learning HTML just recently. Learning something new like HTML can be tough on its own. If you choose to start with an IDE, then you will be spending some extra time learning that IDE. This is not an ideal way to start for a beginner. So, we recommend you to switch to IDEs only when you are comfortable with HTML and you want to move on to larger projects. Some people, especially college professors and some textbook authors, will recommend you to start with pre-installed code editors. They may have some reasons for this approach. Number 1. When students start learning HTML with the help of advanced code editors, they might rely on the features offered by these editors too much. This is basically the superhero suit argument. If you are not a superhero without the suit, then you should not have the suit in the first place. Another reason is that these people might want their students to be prepared for worst case scenarios as much as possible. They may end up with a situation where their computer has no internet connection or any of those advanced code editors installed. In this case, they might not be able to create the projects on their own. The third reason is that these advanced code editors are not going to be available in theoretical examinations and even in some practical examinations. In real life, these reasons might not be suitable for many people. If you are working on a project in a company, many companies will ensure that you will have the best environment for that project as possible. Even if you are working on projects as a hobby, then you might have a computer where you have full privileges. Unfortunately, if you are stuck in a company or an institution where you need to use a specific code editor, then you should stick with that editor. If you have full access to your computer and you are learning HTML on your own, then you are better off with using one of the 5 editors. Atom, Brackets, Notepad++, Sublime Text, and Visual Studio Code are all excellent choices. They have much more features than pre-installed editors and are much easier to learn than IDEs. Since most of these code editors are free, there is nothing stopping you from installing all of these editors and choosing which one you prefer. In the next lesson, we will be looking into the HTML web page which we used in this lesson. If you want to watch the rest of the lessons, then you should consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notification for future videos. If you thought this lesson was helpful, then give us a thumbs up. If you have any specific questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. See you guys in the next lesson.